Welcome to the Screaming Blackbird podcast. In this show, we will talk with military officers and professional leaders to explore Air Force careers and engage in leadership dialogue. The Screaming Blackbird podcast is created by the cadets at Air Force ROTC, Detachment 605 at North Carolina A&T State University. The contents of this show are for educational and entertainment purposes only. They do not contain any official information nor opinions of Air Force ROTC or North Carolina A&T State University.
Appreciate you guys. See ya. See ya. Hey, Cameron, how's it going?
Good.
Good to see you, Chiara.
Nice to see you.
Nice to
again.
see you.
Oh, beautiful weather.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Screaming Blackbird podcast. As always, I'm your host, Cadet Jackson Willis, and today I'm joined by Cadet Cameron Agee and Cadet Chiara Waddy. This is episode 29, and the topic of today's discussion is the Freefall Program, which Cadet Agee has already done, and Cadet Waddy is getting ready to do this summer. Super excited, but before we start, can you tell everybody where we are?
We are at the reflection pool at North Carolina A&T State University. It is a very important place on campus. It's a lot of the more symbolic things kind of happen here. Like whenever Agee passes away, a lot of people gather here to kind of reflect on their lives. And there's a lot of monuments here dating back to the civil rights movement about the different, detailing some of the different things that happened. If you look closely, you can see some bullet marks from some of the events that happened back then. But yeah.
Cool. Who you are, where you're from, and how you got here.
Okay. So I'll go first. My name's Cameron Agee. I was born in Oxford, Ohio. That's where my dad lives, but I was raised in Winston-Salem, North Carolina with my mom. I have a lot of family members in my family that were in the military, and that they kind of really influenced me to join Air Force ROTC and apply for a scholarship, which I ended up getting. And yeah.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Wonderful.
Same question for you, Chiara.
Hello, I am Chiara Waddy. I was born in Germany, Berlingfeld, Germany, but I grew up in Fayetteville, Vietnam, aka North Carolina. I go to UNC Greensboro. I'm a senior, going to be a super senior next year. Reason why I joined Air Force ROTC, I actually never considered the military. I was kind of anti-military. I'm never going to join. Mostly because my biological dad and my stepdad were both prior military, Army side. My dad was a Ranger. And really just seeing the military and how it's benefited my family kind of just prompted me to want to have that same legacy for my family. So I thought I'd try it out, and I actually have enjoyed it. So I'm here.
Awesome. We're excited to have you both here. The topic of today's discussion is the Freefall Program. I'm going to give a brief intro of what it is.
Yeah, sure. So Freefall at the Academy, it's called AM 490. It's just a course that the Air Force Academy offers to teach cadets how to perform military freefall, which is different from static line in the sense that you are jumping out of a plane and you are pulling your own chute. So you're not getting assisted in pulling your chute. Static line, you're hooked up to something, you jump out and it automatically pulls for you. Free fall, you're actually performing free fall. So for a period of time, you are falling through the sky at terminal velocity. So, yes.
Awesome. And with this program, how did you hear about it? This is a question for you, probably, Chiara. Okay. How did you hear about it, and what made you interested and want to apply for this opportunity?
Okay, so in our Google Chats, with an array of wonderful group chats that we have, or Google Spaces, we have a cadet opportunities chat, and Mr. Speaky, woo, love him. He sent out a couple opportunities for SOAR, for Freefall, SEER, and so I was really interested in the Freefall program because about 2 years ago, I actually went skydiving, except it wasn't 4,000 feet like I will be doing in the summer. It was 14,000 feet. But I wasn't by myself. I had someone on me, and I really enjoyed the experience, so I thought it'd be really thrilling and I think awesome development to be able to do it by myself. So I was like, heck yeah, let's do it. So, yeah.
Yeah, just to add on to that, being able to having already had that experience of jumping out of a plane before, even though you weren't the one doing it, I feel like that's really helpful just to know what it's like. So you already know that feeling, you know the experience. So I feel like it'll be easier for you to kind of transition to this program.
So it sounds like it's something that cadets do at the Air Force Academy, but then over the summer they offer it to ROTC detachments.
Yes.
You guys applied for it?
It is I think it's a summer course at the academy. So throughout the summer, they're doing these courses, how I understand it. And one of those sections is dedicated to ROTC cadets. At least that was for me. I think it's a little different now, but over the summer, there's different sections. And yeah.
So were you only with ROTC cadets, or were you mixed in with academy cadets or active duty or anybody else?
For me, it was a total of 38 people. 37 of them were cadets, Air Force ROTC cadets, and then there was one enlisted personnel. There was a class that was directly like before and after us, and they were all academy cadets, so we would see them a little bit. But like it was when we first got there, we saw the last cadets, the class before us of academy cadets, doing their final jumps. And then when we were doing our final jumps, we saw the next upcoming class of academy cadets. So it's like they kind of overlap a little bit.
Awesome. For Chiara, what was it like finding out that you got it? Did you get an email? Did the commander tell you, or how did you know that you were selected for this opportunity?
So Lieutenant Colonel Rose sent me a message. He says, "Congrats, Cadet Waddy. You got accepted to Freefall." And it was actually in class, I almost fell out of my chair because I was so shocked that I got it. It's super competitive to get. Originally, they only had 36 cadets that they would allow across the whole summer session. So that would be about 8 cadets per sessions that they would have, or 6 cadets per session. But this year, they actually offered it or had spaces available for 117 cadets.
Ooh.
So there's about 6 sessions, 19 to 20 per session. The session that I'm going to, which is session 2, we'll be having 20 cadets there. So I was so stoked, thrilled, and then kind of going through my head oh snap, I'm really doing this by myself. I can't back out now. So yeah.
Awesome.
Very excited.
Cool. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
For Cameron, what was it like when you found out you were getting this opportunity at such a young age? Was it your freshman year that you got this?
Yeah, so I was a rising sophomore. I remember at the time, Lieutenant Colonel Whistler, now Colonel Whistler. He was the one who kind of told me about this opportunity, and I just really thought about it. Knowing myself, I'm a really adventurous, and I like to do crazy acting in the moment kind of decisions, and I was just like, yes, hell yes, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I couldn't turn that down. And I just remember being extremely excited for it, because how many people can really say I've jumped out of a perfectly good airplane?
Right, by yourself.
Yes, by myself. This is a program is one of the only in the world where your first jump is unassisted. So there's no one attached to you during your first jump or your last jump or any jump in between.
Yeah.
So you won't have anyone connected to you at any point in time.
Awesome. How many jumps are there, and what sort of preparation did you do before you did your first jump?
So 5 jumps. In order to get past the program, get through the program and get your jump wings, you need to have 5 jumps. And when you first get there, there was a few days of getting acclimated to the altitude, because it is in Colorado, which is a lot higher altitude than what we're used to here in North Carolina. So it was 2 days of that, and then only just 3 days of actual training. Only 3 days of actual training.
How long was the whole?
The whole program was 2 weeks, but most of the 2 weeks is just waiting for good weather to actually jump, or first the acclimation process, 3 days actual training, and then after you pass your final assessment, just finding different days to jump. Usually you won't get no more than 2 days or 2 jumps in a day. I did know one person who did all 5 jumps on the last day, though. So,
Oh my God.
yeah. So
Just rolling through it over and over
just
and over.
go down, do their feedback, go back in the plane, go up, and just keep doing it. And that was fun to see. But usually I did 2 jumps the first day, and then I did 1 jump on different other day on separate occasions. But yeah.
Awesome. Question for you, Chiara. What are you most looking forward to about getting this opportunity? Is it going out? Is it seeing base? Is it actually getting the jumps? Is it the experience or meeting different cadets, or what is it?
Is I think the training and preparation for it, and obviously actually doing it. I think the completion of it, I think, is what I'm most excited for. I've been to Colorado, beautiful place. I'm really glad that I'm going to be there. Meeting different cadets will be awesome, but I have to say, I think the training and preparation for it, I think, is what I look forward to. You're saying like, I don't know. Hey, I mean,
Yeah,
You
the
know,
training
like-
that is it's just repetitive, super repetitive. Like you're gonna know it from the back of your mind. I can still recite some of the things I learned then, and you'll be able by the 3rd day you'll be able to recite the things you'll need to know by in your sleep. You'll be waking up in a fever dream saying, "Check canopy shape, spin, speed," and stuff like that. But yeah, they will test you on a multitude of different scenarios, and a lot of it you won't have to use. But if everything goes well, because hopefully everything will go well, everyone, very safe. It's a very safe program. I wouldn't worry about getting injured or anything like that. But the preparation part, that it is fun. It's tedious. It's tedious, and the best part I would say is just like getting to know the people, and the completion part, being able to say I did that, right?
Right.
Like every jump is terrifying. It's fun, but it's terrifying. No amount of training will prepare you for jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. No amount of training will ever prepare you for that. And so you could have 2 full weeks of training and still feel the same exact way that I did after 3. But just it's all about getting that courage to, even being afraid, getting that courage to jump out of that plane. Because no one's gonna push you out. You gotta jump out yourself. But yeah, no, the sense of pride and being able to say I did that is huge. And then also taking in the view while you're under canopy. That was one of my favorite parts. I remember after my first jump, just sitting under canopy, and then going through my check sequence and looking around and just seeing, wow, this is a really beautiful view. Get a nice view of the mountains and the rest of the campus. But that's one of the best parts. And you're up there for a while, so the free fall is only about 10 seconds. You're up there for like 8 to 10, just under canopy and chilling for a little bit, then doing your landing sequence. Yeah.
Awesome. You mentioned weather being a concern, or you having to work around that. We had a cadet that got sent last summer. It was Cadet Campsey,
Right.
And she was unable to finish all of her jumps because of the weather. I think she did like 2 or 3.
She did 2. I believe.
Never actually finished the program. Is that something that you're concerned about, or are you just out there to have a good time and compete if they give you the opportunity?
I mean, regardless, I'm gonna have a good time. Like, I'm there. It would suck if I'm not able to actually have the completion and receive the jump wings, and actually be able to do all 5. But I think the opportunity, the fact that I was able to go there, I'm grateful. But hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully I don't break anything either. No malfunctions. Hopefully I don't set the example of what not to do. But I don't think that should be a problem.
Yeah, fingers crossed. And we've got cadets who've done it before. So have you talked to them, whether it was Campsey or Agee, about like what they expected and what you expect and things like that?
Definitely. I remember I was talking to you about it maybe earlier in the year, and when you came back as well as a 100, and kind of telling me the sequence of how many times you have to count, how many seconds, and how you kind of like anticipated.
I could do a mock jump right now if you want. So it's like, okay, like, hey, Cameron, stand in the door. So you get up, right hand, right foot. You're at the door of the plane. So the left hand goes on the outside, left hand, left foot on the very edge of the door.
Okay.
And you're putting your head out. Okay. And then like, okay, you're good. Okay. Check in. All that. You're good. Then you jump. Arch 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, check 1,000, or no, check 1,000, whole 1,000, check 1,000. There we go. And then your canopy opens, check canopy, shape, spin, speed. You're just looking at your canopy, making sure it's good. Look around for other jumpers. Make sure you're not running anybody. Check altitude. After your first jump, the people probably are talking to you at this point. So you have a radio,
Yeah.
and they're probably talking to you. But yeah, you check your altitude, make sure that's good. Get your brakes off. Check the right one works. You pull right, you go right. Pull left, you go left. And then you listen to them and you find your holding area. Check if you've pulled both 8 flares at the top. And then you go to your holding zone, and then which is just like the direction. They'll tell you before you get up what direction the wind's coming from, so where your holding zone will be. So it's just which corner of the landing area you're going to be holding at, which is just where you're standing put. So when you're facing the wind under canopy, it's like parking. It's like parking a car because the wind is pushing towards you, so you're going against it. So it's just holding you in place. You're not really falling. You're just standing in place. And then once the people under you have finished going through their landing sequence, once it's your turn, they'll be like, okay, Cameron, you need to start your descent, and you'll start your first descent. You'll take a right turn 9 degrees, base leg, and then take a right one more time to do your final, and then you'll go down and land.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Just
I feel
like
like
that.
I can do it right now, actually. Like, that was a perfect explanation.
Piece of cake.
Easy
About
money.
8 minutes. I might have left out some stuff that I didn't remember, but and then you'll be tested on things like what you do when something goes wrong. Something did go wrong for me one time.
Right.
So, for example, I pulled in an unsafe position. Big no. Don't want to do that. I was kind of like sideways. Don't want to do that. When I looked at my canopy, I had what's called line twist, which is just the strings on your canopy are kind of twisted among each other. And so to get out of that, you just pull your strings over your head, pull them apart, and just bicycle out. So you're kicking and you're flailing your feet. And it's just like you're riding a bicycle. And it took, for me, they said it was some of the worst line twists they'd ever seen. But and so I'm bicycling out, and it took a while, but I started slowly turning and untwisting the lines. And then finally it's turned around and I got untwisted.
What would have happened if you didn't? Like the lines weren't.
It's like
Could you still land?
It's not that line twists aren't the worst thing in the world to have happen to you.
Okay.
You still have a canopy over you. It's just that the lines connected to the canopy are kind of twisted up. So like it's not as open as it could possibly be, but it's still like doing something for you. It's not like you're falling at super fast speed. It's still something you want to address quickly,
you have
though.
a reserve just in case that one.
Yeah, you do have a reserve. In that scenario, you wouldn't really want to utilize that. Like, there's certain situations in which you get to your count sequence and you get through your sequence and something's bad. There's certain situations which call for you pulling a reserve, and that one isn't directly. Maybe a few steps down the line, but line twists are usually something that you can pretty easily deal with. I feel like it's one of the most common things to have happen, which isn't super bad.
Good to go.
Good to go.
Or there's some minor things, but
Can you still maneuver the parachute when you're under line twist?
I believe you can to a certain extent. It's just you want to get those out first before you try and do anything else, because it's your brakes are going to be twisted up too, so you want to be able to
Slow down.
if I remember correctly.
Dang. How maneuverable is the parachute?
Very maneuverable. From what I hear from Static Line, they don't have the brakes the way we do. You just go down, hope and pray. But with what we had, yes, it's very maneuverable. So like, after you take your brakes are what controls your direction. So if you once you pull right on the right brake, which is like, it's kind of just behind you here, you just unstrap it and you'll be able to pull it. If you pull right, you'll go to the right. If you pull left, you'll go to the left. So it's super maneuverable. Once you're at very low altitudes, you don't want to maneuver a lot because a big turn could lead to like a big injury. at a very low altitude. But so the lower you go, the less incremental movements you want to make. You want to make smaller and smaller movements, especially when you're really close to the ground. But yeah.
Awesome. Question for you, Chiara. What are you most looking to get out of this? I kind of talked to you like what you're most looking forward to, but what do you want your biggest takeaway to be? Is it like the fear of jumping out of airplanes? Is it experience in military? Is it maybe looking at getting a job, like a career that you want in the Air Force? What do you want to get
That's
out?
such a good question because I feel like it can go down a lot of avenues. Kind of one of it is trusting myself. I think that's something that I struggle with a bit in regards to like my leadership, especially within this program, like trusting my inner abilities and that I am capable, if given the resources and utilizing the assets and being as prepared as I can be, like I can do this thing. So I think hopefully just gaining more confidence in my inner ability and the training that I've been given, and those appointed over me. So that's one thing. Let me see if I can think of anything else that's in the meantime. Yeah, that's I guess that's all I have to say right now.
Yeah, going off of that, like, even with all the preparation and everything, sometimes things still go wrong. You can have a bad jump every single time and still pass it. It's just like a matter of like what you learn. So like, if you make a mistake but improve upon it the next time, the next jump, you're still good. But if you continually making the same mistake over and over, that is a bad thing that could potentially get you put on commander's watch. And then even if you are put on commander's watch, you can still pass the program. It's just knowing what you did wrong, and learning from it. But the confidence, even if you did have a bunch of bad jumps on there, you can still say like, I went out there and I jumped out of an airplane. I saved my own life 5 times in a row.
That's true.
And the confidence that builds is outstanding. Not a lot of people can say they did that voluntarily.
Sweet. What was the impact that this program had on you?
Yeah, I feel like we touched into it a little bit, what we were just talking about, just the confidence in myself, and it really kind of challenged what I thought was possible. Back, if you had told Cameron freshman year, hey, you're going to jump out of airplanes and be unassisted, do all that, and you're going to jump out of a perfectly good airplane, he would have probably looked at you a little weird, because that sounds, before it was just like a bucket list thing, that you put on a wish list that you never really think you'd actually get to cross off.
Mm-hmm.
And being able to cross that off was just like, wow, what else can I do? It really just opened my world on what I thought was really achievable, right? And so now the rest of things on my bucket list don't seem as far-fetched.
Good. So keep increasing that goal, and now it's kind of changed your perspective on life. That's great. Were you able to take those experiences and lessons that you've learned and bring them back to the detachment? Have you told anybody about what you were able to do that summer?
I'm laughing because they both already know. I talk about my experiences to the point where it's a little bit annoying, and they're kind of fed up with me. But yes, I did love sharing my experience and my jumpings and my accomplishments in that. But mainly I feel like the biggest part is being able to share my experiences to people who are interested,
Mm-hmm.
and get them excited for it. Because if I'm out here showing everybody how proud I am of this and how and sharing my experience, it's naturally going to build up interest.
Right,
With Cadet Waddy and Cadet Campsey, well, now Lieutenant Campsey.
Yeah. Not yet. Soon. She's still AS 400 Campsey right now.
Really? Oh,
at Mississippi State.
Right. That's correct. Soon to be Lieutenant Campsey.
Yes.
But just being able to share those experiences with the cadets here and being able to increase that interest and have their horizons opened like mine was.
Literally.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, it's great that
I really jumped at the opportunity to go do this program.
Oh my gosh.
And I hope others do the same.
You jumped at the opportunity. Good. Yeah. Yeah, in all seriousness, it's great that cadets at Detachment 605 are able to go out and get some of these opportunities and then bring it back and inspire the next generation or the next class of cadets to be able to kind of put themselves out there and take some risks and do something that they're not 100% confident they can do. And then they realize, oh, this is something I can do. And then now they're stronger, more powerful for it. Just creates a better detachment.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, we have audience members that are from all walks of life, and they want to hear what is like your biggest learning lesson, your biggest nugget of knowledge that you'd like to leave with them. You got any words of wisdom for them?
Even when you think you can't, you can. There were multiple times in the program where there were people, even when we were up in the plane, deciding like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not going to do this. And that's something that could get you kicked out. But they ended up deciding, no, I can do this, right? And then they went out and they went and did it, right? And they got through the program. And even when things seem impossible and things seem insurmountable, you can still find the courage to kind of power through and do those things. Kind of the mind over matter kind of thing.
Yeah.
And all it takes is, the first step and then believing that you can take another. So even when you think you can't do something, you definitely can. It's just a matter of preparation and work.
Awesome. Same question for you.
I absolutely love this quote when we were learning warrior knowledge from Sir Winston Churchill. Success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. And honestly, like that blew my brains like apart. I don't know if that's like a weird thing to say, but it's true. Like success is not final. You'll never reach a point where you're like, I've grown enough. There's always room for growth. There's always room for potential. And just remembering in those moments where you do feel like it is not fatal. Like that is in that where you learn a lot. And so just take it as just something that you can learn from and continue to grow in your life. You're going to continue to fail. You're going to continue to learn. I guess I don't really like to say failure, fall. You're going to fall and you're going to get back up. And that's okay. And there's so many lessons that come from that. And your experiences can help other people. Your failures can help other people, your success. So just embrace it all. Embrace what this life has to give you and take every day as an opportunity.
No mistakes. Only learning opportunities.
Only learning opportunities.
That's what you get from field training.
Oh, yes.
It's amazing. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on. We're here at North Carolina A&T's campus. We got clock towers going off. We got planes flying overhead. We got students going to class. It's a high moving world, and we got 2 cadets moving here at light speed. So we're really proud of you guys and everything that you're able to accomplish. And the fact that we're able to share this with everybody else is just amazing. So thank you.
Thank you.
With that being said, that concludes episode 29 of the Screaming Blackbird podcast. As always, I'm your host, Cadet Jackson Willis. Today I was joined by Cadet Cameron Agee and Cadet Chiara Waddy, and that is it.
Wonderful.
Freefall.
That being said, we will see ya.
Sorry, my bad.
It's okay.
I kind of messed it up because I had to aquapause.
I don't know.
You win some, you lose some.